Guess what? You're getting it. You're getting it, pal.
There was one extra plate. You just had to put it down.
Somebody's just as stupid as Burke. Somebody's just as stupid as Burke. Don't be making fun of me. Somebody's just as stupid as Burke.
And that's what Cassie was talking about. Context right there.
Had the little button on the end.
Ah!
Ladies and gentlemen, Steven is coming in with the bare hands. Bobby's got the sword and board. Unbelievable action here happening, folks. Why would Steven come in with just his bare hands? We don't know, but he's got freaking balls of steel, that's for sure. By the way, these are women, and I wasn't aware of that. But we're going with it anyway. Steven is, got freaking, is down. Steven is dead.
Behold, a combatant from
The security guard wins.
Well, so far it seems to be working.
We gotta put them all somewhere. There's more people
order
coming.
them to follow.
There's more people coming.
Paintings Beckett wants for his client. There should be clues on the
No, this one's following you.
I know. Where are we taking them? Across the way?
I don't know. There's
Across the
people
way.
across the way.
We already
Come here,
know
you
that's
son of a
where
bitch!
shooting
Yeah.
is.
You get down to.
That was an accident. I'm sorry. I thought it was the wrong button. I was pushing buttons. My bad. I'm so sorry. A bit sensitive. This is kind of the idea.
There's one they fear. In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
Oh, come on. For the love of shit, I just wanted to see. I literally got Skyrim VR as immersive as possible, and this is the bullshit that I get. I'm sure this is going to be a... No! I literally can't do my job. I can't do my job in this freaking game. I am constantly bullied and harassed by the game. And I'm just trying to live, man!
Next spot.
Oh, they're coming! They're coming!
That's the drone! That's the drone! That's the drone! That's the drone!
Oh my God! You shot me into the fucking thing.
Oh shit!
Dare oppose the might of the Imperial Legion. Die! Ooh! Yeah!
I'm not under arrest.
Oh, he killed me.
Technically,
He's already killed me.
I don't know who did that, but I hate you for life. I'm gonna watch the clip, and you're banned from my.
Hey, hey.
Oh.
He's gonna stab himself to death. Oh, yeah.
I tried.
Oh, there he is. I had a gun.
He always has a gun.
Yes, 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 yes. Blah, 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 blah. Hello. How's it going?
Burklap, Burkenotters, Burkerave, Burkedumpy, Burker, Burkwave, Burklap, Burkes, Burksus.
How's it going? All right. Yeah, drops are, I guess, apparently are gonna soon, so just FYI. But we're here, we're chilling, we're waiting. There's gonna be something. There it is. And I have a bagel. A jalapeno bagel. Look at that. Yeah. Fat one.
Is the game broke? No, it's not freaking broke! Okay, that's all I want to know, sorry.
God, Horizon, why are you trying to hurt me, man? No, we don't tell him that. Tell him I got maximum viewership the entire time at any point in time of day. Don't say shit like that, damn it. You're gonna get me in trouble. I don't know how it works. Well, don't know how it works. Trying to take a man's bag. That's what you're trying to do. Yes, they know. They know cohorts, and they know.
It's a total fabrication. It never happened. Not this time. It's a fake. It's fiction.
Usually when deals like this happen, cohorts, and there's more to it than just like there's more to it. Let's take it that way. So they're well aware that I'm a nighttime streamer, and there will be a nighttime stream as well. But this is like this event. They want as many eyes as they can possibly get. The goal is to get as many streamers streaming it, so that they go up in the category, so that they dominate Twitch. So that when people come to Twitch, they're like, oh, why is Path of Exile like #2 on Twitch? What's going on? Let me click that. That's what they're trying to do. That's why you see such a massive amount of streamers streaming it right now. It's just marketing, man. Classic marketing. No, what do you mean I'm on land? What does that look like to you? Does that look like land? Now, you might be wondering, Bert, why is it nighttime? That was definitely a weird moon. The waves hit us right there, really good. To which I reply, I sail around the world, okay? So I'm always on moon time. I'd be an incredible vampire. Nice. Oh yeah, we got a long wait for that. With everything that's going on with Total War and everything, like I'm so excited for Total War right now. I think they're doing a great job, like focusing on what they need to focus on. Really dialing in. I'm very happy for them. What's happening in 45 minutes? We don't know. Yeah, you can drop trailers. You're a sub. You can drop your link. Yeah, things are very interesting. Oh, that's good. All right, hold on. BurkeBlack, give me just a second.
You're gonna be screaming for daddy tonight.
Hold on. I feel like this is something I should share with chat while I'm doing this. How do I do that? Let me see.
Burke, hi.
There's two major things going on right now. there's two things going on right now. Jeez. We got a Twitch announcement and we got other news going on in the world right now, apparently. So we won't get into that, but it's spreading everywhere right now. How do I search for this and Twitter doesn't bring it up? What is this shit? Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Twitch support. A note on our work to combat viewbotting. From CEO Dan Clancy. There has been a lot of discussion recently about viewbotting on Twitch, and I wanted to share an update on our enforcement efforts. Viewbotting is bad for our business. We don't benefit from it, and we believe it harms the creator ecosystem overall. However, effectively combating viewbotting is challenging. This is true, by the way. It's not something like they just want to just not address. It is hard to fix it. As we deploy updates to our real-time detection algorithms, viewbotting companies quickly respond with updates to avoid detection because Twitch is stopping them from making their money. And if money's involved, people are motivated to work the system. Remember all the times you went to go to YouTube and you constantly had to get a new ad blocker? Remember that? And YouTube constantly was trying to stop you from using it? Remember how frustrated you were? Just let me use my blocker. That's what viewbotters are. Same damn thing. Twitch implements something to block them. The websites that let you buy them quickly change so that they can be used again. Okay, so it's like it's a never-ending story. Also, our detection systems must be precise to ensure that legitimate viewers are appropriately counted. This is where like many streamers are upset because they think that, yeah, I'll be on it, Urbanus, are not, lurkers are not being counted. You know, that's where streamers are concerned about that. Today, we're introducing a new enforcement type that we plan to roll out over the next few weeks. For channels identified as persistently viewbotting, we will apply a cap to the streamer's CCV. Oh, man. For a fixed period of time on all of the Twitch's surfaces. The cap will be based upon historical data regarding the creator's non-viewbotted traffic. What if they've been viewbotting for 5 years? Repeated violations will result in longer penalties. Streamers will be notified when an enforcement is applied, along with the duration of the penalty, and can appeal through the appeals portal. While streamers will be notified, we will not make a follow-on announcement when we will begin issuing these enforcements, and we will not publicly share details about when and where these enforcements are applied. Unfortunately, providing details simply makes it easier for companies to work around our interventions. Oh, Lord have mercy. We believe this approach will help us make meaningful progress against viewbotting. We will continue refining our systems and expand when we apply these enforcements over time. Oh, man. Like, I think the worry here is like, are they using AI to detect this? And is the AI going to be accurate? I've already gone through TikToks that just ban your ass for the slightest slight. You know what I mean? Like, are we certain that this is going to be a system that's going to scan millions of streamers for viewbotting and not get something wrong here? Yeah. Maven is here from TikTok, yeah. It's gonna be chatting, engaging. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I'm not against the idea of what they're talking about, but I'm worried that there will there's gonna be some innocent people caught up in the entanglement here. It says historical data, so if you're viewbotting for the last 5 years, you're good then, right? No, not yet, Fluent. Not to mention, what if you really hate somebody? What if you really hate a Twitch streamer? There's already been many of cases where people spend money to harass a streamer that they really don't like. So if Twitch is going to start issuing out punishments based on viewbotting, you know, what if Synthetic decides, you know what, Burke, I hate your ass. I'm going to go swipe my card and have the viewbot website start viewbotting you every day for years, or every day for months, I guess, so that Twitch will crack down on your ass. Like, what if that happens? Yeah, tomorrow I have 50K viewers, right? Yeah, what happens then? How do you stop that? How do they, like, how does that literally stop someone from, like, ending someone's career on Twitch? This is going to be interesting, yeah. Shouldn't impact them. It'll be based on their previous figures. So, like, how do you grow them, McCrory? Right. So let's say Fluent Zap view bots me for 50,000, right? And my CC average is probably like, I don't know, let's say 1,500, right? So now I've got 50,100 and 50,100 and 500. Whatever, you know what I mean, whatever, math, right? So then Twitch's system kicks in to knock my CCV down back to its normal thing, right? To 1,500, correct? That's what this sounds like it's gonna do, if I understand this correctly. So then, like, if I get raided or if I'm playing a game and there's a lot of people coming in to see this game and or there's drops or something like that, does that mean no matter how many people are coming in, I am still gonna be streaming to a CCV of 1,500? Like, you just don't grow anymore on Twitch. You're just done. That's it. If that's the case, shit, why did my viewership have to drop from 2K to 1,500? Holy shit. I mean, give or take. I mean, you hope, Stubbles. But that's, imagine running your entire existence on a hope and a prayer that an algorithm is not going to screw up. Yeah. I get that, but what else is there? The what else is there is to do nothing. Because the system is designed where it will punish innocent channels that can never, ever grow and destroy their careers. Right now, the current system doesn't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess initially, but then could you outlast a botter? They'd run out of money? No, it's not that expensive, McCory. Am I gonna do Skyrim RP? Eventually, yeah. This has been busy time, buddy. Yeah. Just become a political channel? I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, dude. This is something different. Again, my biggest fear is AI running moderation, you know? And what will come of that. I myself saw the last time Twitch did something. A lot of us were convinced that some people ain't being counted in chat. Thank you, Bitter One, Captain Tyro, and Kev. Yeah. I don't think that I am a primary focus of somebody doing viewbotting. And I have always said the one thing I like to do is go to bed at night, put my head down, close my eyes, and not have anything to worry about. So viewbotting has never been even something that crossed in my mind. I just don't care about it that much to do it. I care more about not worrying about having some shit on my shoulder, worrying that if I get caught, what if I alt tab? And so, BurkeBlack showed his viewbot program. Oh, his career is over. It's just, this shit ain't worth it. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, people could like, you could literally scan this entire computer. You ain't gonna find shit. I ain't got a text file full of links on here. I don't got it. It doesn't exist. The only thing I'd be worried about you seeing is like IP addresses and shit, and that's it. Yeah. But we all, I mean, like so many of the circle of streamers that I'm around, we all saw a drop in viewership after Twitch implemented its last fix, you know, of viewbotting. And a lot of us suspect that we know for a fact that our circle were not known viewbotters. So something changed in how they count viewership. Because my stats on like you know, how many of you click links and how many people talk in chat and stuff like that is not changed at all. How many people actually, like, there's another thing that detects how many of you come into the channel at any given time and then come back out. You understand that like your CCV, like right now it says how many of you are here. It says there's 300 of you here, right? So that's an average. It kind of does an average. But you understand that 300 people aren't just sitting in their computer and just watching this channel, right? Like that number is probably a little less. Because it has a lot of people, they come in and they go, oh, neat, and then they leave and they come in, they leave or whatever. Actual IP addresses that are tracked that come in into a Twitch channel is vastly larger than the actual amount of viewers that are here. So like, for example, a stream or two ago, it was 33,000. And in over 8 hours, 33,000 people came into my channel at one point in time. Now, the CCV does not reflect that. Right? Yeah, click rate. I don't know, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah, it's unique IPs. Yep. If I'm getting 33,000, imagine how much some of these absolute massive banger channels are getting, like 100,000s. What I mean, someone accused of Burke of viewbotting it? No. Twitch announced a new crackdown measure on viewbotting. We're just discussing it. Like, we're talking about the last time Twitch tried to crack down on viewbotting. Like, we all felt like they broke something with the view count. Now, Twitch swears that nothing has been done, and that, you know, they swear that what do they call them? Lurkers are being counted, which I have no reason to believe that they're lying about that. They're not. I'm just saying, like, there was something changed, and unless collectively the late night streamers all just suddenly started to suck ass, and people were like, you know, it could be the queso effect, it could be burnt peanut effect. The only thing is, like, I don't really. I mean, I'm sure there's people in my group that are who think peanut's awesome, you know. But I don't think the vast majority of you tune in for those kind of games, though. Now, queso's a different question altogether. Queso does play a lot of silly games like the Late Shift does, so that's different. But yeah, Peanut and Queso, the only ones who are on during my time slot that I know that might have an effect on general viewership to the general late night shift group of streamers that I am aware of. So, I don't know. But I don't think a lot of you share a lot. Peanut's probably one of the funnier streamers on Twitch, but he plays a lot of the same high action, you know, pew pew pew, Arc Raiders kind of gameplay, and I just don't think that that's my audience, really. you know, you're always losing and gaining and losing and gaining. You know, viewership is changing. People are going this way or that way. You know, that's happening all the time. That's normal. That's just part of Twitch. Ad block was a change in how they did ads, and ad block stopped working. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that I mean, again, the statistics that I have of my channel, right? How many of you are coming in, active chatters, my sub count, stuff like that. A lot of that is very similar to like a year ago. So I don't know. As a European, you're supposed to bring my iPad over the nights to sleep with. So, you know, when they ask me when I'm 80 years old, and they're like, what's the key to success for streaming, Burke? I said, I'm going to say, you got to be boring enough that people fall asleep to you. That's how I made my entire career. If it wasn't for the fact that I could put people to sleep, I would not be as successful as I am today. Yeah, 100%, yeah. But there's the streams after her day to calm down, and I don't blame you. Return of the Ancients. I think that's what it's going to be about. The next chapter. Why is that a recent highlight? What the hell is that? Recent highlight? What? Huh. New class in Act 5. Is Act 5 the final? And Act 6 is coming? Okay. Could be the case. Let me go use the restroom and I'll be right back before we get started, chat.
Now I need lube. I need lots and lots of lube. Oh, so much lube.
Oh, all right. Hot diggity dog. Goodness. Sometimes things sneak up on you, chat. You gotta be ready for that. Life come at you fast, you know? Oh, I feel great, yeah. We're about to see what they're gonna do here. Oh shit, I forgot my panel. I forgot my panel, chat. I forgot my panel. Shit. I heard I've put my panel on. Shit. Shut up, Burke. Oh, there's your panel. You got that. Well, this is cool. Hold up. No? Oh yeah, that's cool. All right, there it is. Cool. Okay, what else? Grinding Gear Games. Oh, the tracking link. Yeah, I think it's not live yet. Yeah, resource not found. Yeah, the link's not borked. It's not live yet. It says it will go live 10 minutes before the broadcast, which should be now, I guess. Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. That's a real. Yeah, I'll check it out. Grinding Gear Games. Hmm. What do you guys think they're going to announce? Today's Star Citizen Insider? Oh, okay, I'll check it out. New skill lines, probably. And my caffeine's in me. Just when you think I'm done, I have a Diet Coke. Yeah. Hell yeah. What an interesting day. Completely redoing the game and changing it to a Pokemon's game. What'd you eat for lunch? My protein oatmeal stuff that I make. And then a little half a bagel. My dad must have went to McDonald's to get something because that's where that came from. New world map, new class, revamps of the post-war stuff. Okay. Say goodbye to these spammers. I don't know why they're doing a login. Yeah, boy. They should announce fishing. Hanging out watching you on the TV. Hi, Nikki. Yeah, we're just having a good old time here, Cleater. We're going to see what they're going to announce together. Hopefully something good, man. Want some classes to blow some stuff up. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we're about to find out. Thank you, Grinding Gear Games. For sponsoring us. Let me set that. Branded content. Thank you. Ten seconds away.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live. We have a huge amount of stuff to share today, so it's going to be a good one. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so you'll be able to claim the Red Queen's font hideout decoration by following the instructions below. Okay, so with that out of the way, time to roll the trailer for Path of Exile 2, Return of the Ancients.
Those in darkness once lay dormant, now return.
Yeah.
We who came before rise again. Behold, the first edict.
New in-game quest, the origins of the divinity. $30 new in-game areas. Rite of the ritual reworked. Initial pinnacle boss. What the hell is that? Look at that. Waking the Dreamer. New in-game quest. Genesis tree crafting. Breach rework. New in-game quest, the Hare and the Raven. Delirium reworked. New Delirium boss, okay. New league. Remnant encounters. 25 skill. I don't know what that means. That word is. Expedition reworked. Explore the ocean. New Expedition Pinnacle boss. New in-game quest, the Masters of Atlas.
Continue the search. See what you can find.
Atlas classes. Foul Temple to Core. Man, there is so much stuff in this game. This game keep you busy for years. Atlas Abysses. 15 new bosses and pinnacles. Holy cow.
Now see how your story ends.
New Atlas passive tree. New crafting systems. Wow, holy cow. Spirit Walker Ascendancy. Martial Artist Ascendancy. $40 new uniques. And much more.
To face us is to face oblivion.
May 29th. There it is.
So as you can see, there's just so much going on in Return of the Ancients, it's hard for even us to keep track of it all. Now we promised that this one was going to revamp the in-game, and I'm very excited to talk about it. But first, we've got to talk about the League. So to do that, I'm going to hand things over to Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. Now, for those of you who are new to Path of Exile, each time we release an update, we also release a new League. Not only do we have a new economy, but we also introduce new content through the campaign, which gives you a fresh play experience right from the start of the game, as well as new mechanics, storylines, and in-game bosses. In the Runes of Eldur League, you will encounter a man being attacked by the undead in Clairfell. After saving him, he introduces himself as Pharaoh, a young blacksmith trying to bring back the ancient art of Ezomite runesmithing. He has been collating his discoveries in a tome and is keen to show you how runesmithing works. By inscribing symbols on these ancient Ezomite remnants, you can create all manner of old magics. Unfortunately, on doing so, the corpses of the nearby undead are revived and infused with some of the latent power, making for a difficult fight. After defeating these monsters, Pharaoh realizes that runesmithing is a dangerous business, and he is going to need the help of someone a little more martially inclined to discover these secrets. He lends you his tome and asks that you note down anything you discover when you return to him. In each area in the Runes of Eldur League, you will find a remnant, and as you approach it, you will notice that some symbols are already present, and some are waiting for you to fill them in. Depending on which symbols are already present, you will have different options for which items you can create using this magic. For example, if you combine Tempest and Lightning, you can create an orb of augmentation. But be careful. The symbols used to craft the items also empower the monsters around the remnant, who will be revived as undead to fight again with different properties depending on what runes you used.
Oh, I like the undead.
So, if you use a fire rune in your recipe, the monsters will be empowered with fire. Or if you use a moon rune, lunar beams will rain down as you fight the monsters. After the fight, break the remnant to receive the item you crafted. As you get higher level, you will start to find remnants with more slots for more runes, allowing you to craft rarer items. As the number of slots increases though, more waves of monsters will be added.
Not yet, Rob.
With each wave being empowered by more and more of the runes. And this can get pretty dicey, because some of the runes can have powerful effects. Like the Oath rune, which will cause one monster to be nominated as a leader, spawning waves of minions. The leader itself will be invincible, but killing its minions will deal damage to it. Some recipes can get pretty large, requiring 6, 7, or even 8 runes.
For some reason, my link hasn't swapped over, so there's a link.
You won't have to remember them. Pharaoh's runecrafting book will record all the options, allowing you to simply pick which one you want to craft, given the existing runes that are already on the remnant. To expand your knowledge and to allow you to craft more items, Pharaoh has asked that you keep an eye out for signs of runic magic around Rayclost. He wants to document anything you find in order to rediscover the secrets of Ezomite runesmiths of old. The first of these can be found in Ogham, and reveals to you an ancient secret, buried deep underground. The runic magic which the Ezomites believe to be their own is actually of Kalguran origin. Thousands of years ago, the Kalgurans came to Rayclost to find sources of verisium, a metal on which engraved runes allow control over reality. Pharaoh is determined to learn these ancient ways and gain mastery over them. If you can bring him more verisium, he'll be able to use it to smith power into any armor, granting you runic ward, the power harnessed by the Kalgurans since ancient times. Runic ward is a new resource that protects you from death. Should you run out of life, your runic ward will kick in, sustaining your body until your life can return. It effectively acts as an extra life pool. Of course, should you take enough damage to run out of that, you will still die.
Oh!
Every single piece of armor in the game can be upgraded this way. Even uniques. Some are just a strict upgrade, giving runic ward with no downside. Others are more extreme, sacrificing defenses to get a much larger amount of runic ward. There are even some that add new modifiers to uniques entirely, making them much more viable for higher level play. But the Kalgurans use runic ward for more than just a defense. It can also be used to power many other magics. Instead of using gems created from corruption, the Kalgurans used runes of power and fueled them with runic ward. Many of the options available from remnant crafting are new types of Kalguran skills that exclusively spend Runic Ward to wreak havoc. An example is Triskelion Cascade. Using it will cause your next spell to be triggered multiple times in a Triskelion pattern. You can use it with skills like Ice Nova that you cast from yourself, or with something you target at a distance, like Comet. There are also skills to modify existing effects using runic magic, like Frost Flame Nova. Using this skill on a pack of burning enemies will transform the Ignite into Frostfire, both burning them and building up freeze at the same time.
Sick. Playing as a dragon is awesome.
You have basic buffs like Hollow Shell that guards all nearby allies, to more complicated mechanics like the Mark of Repulsion, that creates a mark capable of pushing away all nearby enemies. Instead of spending mana, like skill gems do, all these skills cost Runic Ward, and unlike gems, they don't have a colour. This means that they don't care about attribute requirements, or what kind of weapon you use. These skills are designed to be used on any class, and so often interact with mechanics that apply across many characters. By combining different runes together, the Kalgurans were able to support their runic abilities, and you can as well. There is also a set of runic supports that can be combined with regular skill gems in interesting ways. Concussive Runes allows you to add these concussive shockwaves to any skill that stuns, while Runic Infusion lets you spend ward to directly empower the damage on any skill. Now, there are other quests during the campaign too, that unlock even more interesting crafting methods. Buried deep in the jungle in Act 3, you can find the Mystic Refuge, containing even more secrets for Pharaoh to learn from. Using this knowledge, he gains the ability to reforge unique weapons. With this technique, many low-level unique weapons can be upgraded to do significantly more damage. Now, we've been able to take a bunch of uniques that had interesting modifiers, but were not in-game viable, and give them a bit of a boost to get there. And it's not just low-level uniques. All Kalguran uniques are able to be runeforged this way too, and they can do some pretty interesting things. Like Searle's Grit, a new unique, which when runeforged can get one of several different outcomes. Now, there is still so much more that you can craft with remnants. There are also 100 new runes, as well as many other new crafting currencies. This is the runes of Eldur after all, and some of these runes have quite powerful effects. For example, this elemental conversion rune will convert all the existing mods on a non-unique weapon from one element to another. Using it, you could combine a weapon with all 3 elemental damage mods into a single element, making a weapon with massive amounts of cold damage. There is also a rune that lets you destroy your rune sockets to turn them into a dual socket on your item. And there are even crafting meta runes that can unlock new types of mods when used with regular crafting. For example, this Rune of Chronomancy will unlock a set of time-related mods to be crafted on your boots. Once placed inside, use regular crafting orbs to attempt to get new mods like cooldown speed or increased skill effect duration. You can also create a new type of currency called alloys. Using regular metals alloyed with verisium, new modifiers not normally available can be directly crafted onto your items. Using imbued alloy could improve your ailment damage, for example. There are honestly so many options here that unlock all sorts of crazy crafting projects. So I think people will be experimenting with these for a long time.
Thank you, Viper.
Once you get to King's March in Act 4, Pharaoh finally meets Danig, a real Kalguran runesmith. And riddled with excitement, he wants to learn how to merge modern Kalguran techniques with the ancient knowledge that he has found. From here on, Pharaoh joins in the Kalguran expeditions that Danig has been leading. With the ancient knowledge that Pharaoh brings to the table, the Kalguran expeditions that Danig has been going on will change significantly. For those of you who haven't played it, the Expedition League mechanic involves carefully placing explosives, uncovering the buried dead, and recovering Verisium from them. By choosing where to place the explosives, you can choose which kind of challenges you would like to face, or rewards you would like to claim. But unlike before, expeditions now contain the remnants from Runes of Eldur, allowing you to do some specific crafts along the way using the new League crafting mechanic. One very important difference from the simple remnant encounters, though, is that the empowerments that the remnants grant apply to every monster down the explosive line for the rest of the encounter, stacking together. This can lead to some pretty extreme situations. If you stack too many remnants, you might be in for a fight beyond your abilities, but the rewards can be very worth it. Each mod on the monster is improving the items that they can drop. Once you get to the endgame, you will find that the Atlas has changed substantially. To the south, you will now find the coastline of Rayclast, with the ocean beyond.
I want that, guys.
Kingsmarch has not fared well after the Cataclysm, and lays in ruins. Rog's shop has been destroyed, but he is much more concerned about his wife, Gwenyn. He would like to launch an expedition deep into the ocean to find her, and this begins a new major mechanic for Expedition, exploring the ocean. Previously, a logbook was a single encounter. Now, using a logbook, you can send ships to explore an area of the ocean to the southeast, uncovering a range of islands to begin your search for Gwenyn. You can hop from island to island, doing many new encounters. There are islands with expeditions, grand expeditions, new bosses, and all sorts of other unique things to find. Eventually, you will find the island that Gwenyn has been holed up on. It turns out that she has found the tomb of an ancient Kalguran, Medved. While she appreciates you coming to her rescue, she is still keen to blow open the doors of the vault and take whatever you can find inside. It's just a shame that Medved isn't as dead as you previously assumed. Now, after you have defeated Medved, you will find another logbook, and this time you can use it to choose which direction you want to explore. The ocean is vast and contains a huge number of new islands to find. With each logbook, you can explore one sector, and you can
You ain't
go
running
as
out of
deep as you
content
like.
for this game. Like, this is gonna, this is gonna stretch it
There
out.
are
You're gonna
all
be
sorts
playing
of
this game
interesting
for a
objects
bit.
to uncover and dungeons to explore. Many of the islands have expeditions with totally new mechanics. So for example, here is a volcanic island with voltaxic sulfite. Blowing up the sulfite will unleash extra waves of enemies. But there is also this wall with a suspicious light coming from behind it. On blowing it open, a giant ogre comes out, and he is determined to eat as much sulfite as possible. The more sulfite mounds that you have blown up, the more empowered and the more rewarding he will become. These islands contain all sorts of little secrets that you can find and blow up. Free trapped wisps, blow open root doors, even raise ancient precursor technology. And of course, more bosses. There are more and further vaults to blow up, and one of them in particular is pretty important. The Tomb of Uhtred, the Star Drinker.
Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
Uhtred was responsible for calling down the meteors of Verisium, which the Kalgurans used to power their ancient magic. And upon defeating him, he calls down a truly gigantic one into the ocean nearby.
Wow, what the frick?
On visiting it, you find that it is shrouded by a strange energy emanating from the Verisium core of the meteor within. There is something growing in there, and it can't be anything good. In order to gain entry, Danig suggests that the Triskelion Flame, an ancient Kalguran artifact that can absorb and cancel the effects of Verisium magic, could be used to enter. But to find it, you will need to locate the Tomb of Olroth, leader of the Knights of the Sun. Defeat him and gain access to whatever eldritch nightmare is growing inside. Now, we're not going to spoil the boss, but one thing you should know is that the Verisium that makes up the core of the meteor is of a quality that has not been available for millennia. Bringing this to Pharaoh and Danig should allow them to forge some objects of power, the creation of which has been lost to time. So that's the League, and there is a lot going on. To sum all that up, there is a new encounter with over 30 new monster types and over 30 new rune modifiers to enhance them. You can create more than 100 new runes to craft your gear, as well as dozens of other new currency items. And there are new quests added to the campaign to unlock even more new crafting options. Rune forging armors, upgrading uniques, dozens of new Kalguran skills and supports, tons of new islands to discover by exploring the ocean, 5 new bosses, including a new pinnacle boss, and a bunch of new uniques to top it off. But there is still a ton more to come. It's time to talk about the massive changes to the endgame. But for that, I'll hand it back to Jonathan.
Yeah, my link doesn't
Now, as
work,
Mark
so
hinted at
here's
before,
this link.
the in-game atlas is very different now, and the ocean to the south is the least of the changes. The entire area around your starting location is now teeming with new questlines and things to discover. Will you investigate the strange forest to the west? The cracks in the earth to the east? Or perhaps visit the ruins of a Val city in the north? The atlas now has fixed points of interest at specific locations, giving you specific objectives that are easy to find. Like before though, no matter which objective you choose, going to towers to see what's out there is always a good idea. The first time you do that though, something new happens. The earth shakes, and a gigantic fortress rises from the earth. A remnant of the ancient precursor civilization.
Grinding gear games.
The cataclysm of the beast has caused an ancient protocol to be invoked. Should corruption ever take hold to this degree, the world must be scoured and purged of corruption. You will need to make your way into the fortress and activate the gates. Gain the keys to reach these ancient precursor weapons, and disarm them. But this will be no easy task. The fortress has many areas to explore and many new things to find.
What the hell was that?
You will power up ancient machines, fight new and deadly foes, discover many new areas, and uncover some dark secrets. Now, the fortress is the first of the new full in-game storylines that we're adding in 050, and there's a lot going on with it. But not only that, it has some pretty cool new mechanics as well. The areas inside the fortress are special. Many of them have new mechanics or rewards that they grant. Like this map, where all the rares are contained in essence crystals. Or this one, which replaces all monster packs in the area with strongboxes. Or this one, which spawns an Asmeri spirit that always moves on from a rare after you kill it, allowing you to chase it through the entire map. Now, just like the normal areas of the Atlas, you'll need to fight the map boss of each area to complete the map. But unlike a normal map, the ones in the fortress each contain precursor nodes after the boss, and activating these nodes will give you points for the new and improved Atlas passive tree. Now, we had an Atlas passive tree before, but it was one of the areas of the endgame that just wasn't up to scratch. The Atlas tree now works quite a lot differently. We have significantly upgraded the kind of mechanics that you can find on the Atlas tree. Like this one that gives a chance to make rogue exiles you fight retreat from combat and move to an adjacent map. Before you fight them again, they'll upgrade their gear and come back with a grudge this time. There are also a lot of nodes that combine mechanics together in new ways, like this one which lets Ismeri spirits possess strongboxes. All the regular monsters that come out of them are touched by the spirit, and the rares are all possessed, giving you some incredible loot potential. You get points from every single area you complete in the fortress, and unlike before, that means you can allocate the entire Atlas tree. Yes, this whole tree can be yours. This change is pretty important, since it allows us to be able to create many types of bonuses that we wouldn't have been able to create before. Like this one, which gives a chance for cities to be invaded by another faction, and can even allow it to contain 2 faction leaders, allowing you to get 2 crisis fragments. If we'd done this kind of thing in the old tree, we would have wanted to spec into it before running a city map, then unspec out of it before running anything else. With full allocation, we can have cool bonuses like these. Now obviously we still want to make sure that you have choices that define your in-game Atlas build. So many nodes in the Atlas tree are now multi-choice. Everyone will get the node, but which bonus you choose to use is up to you.
Path has so many
Do you want your
unique
powerful
creatures
boss maps to contain more
designs.
essences, summoning circles, or rogue exiles? But there's also nodes that contain more unusual things. So for example, on this node you can choose. Do you want to give a chance for shrines to instead be given to the map boss in the area, making them more challenging but dropping special loot?
Yeah.
Or would you rather give a chance to be given a shrine buff before entering boss arenas, making for an easier fight? Now, I could probably nerd out about cool stuff in the tree all day, but we should probably get back to the fortress. Now, one of the really important things we wanted to do was make it so that all the boss fights in the endgame are now accessible with a quest line. That means that to fight the Arbiter of Ash for the first time, you don't need to get lucky by finding keys. They will be in fixed locations and there's a quest to get them. But the Arbiter of Ash is no longer the pinnacle of Path of Exile 2. For that, you'll need to travel into the very center of the fortress. An incredible challenge awaits you should you choose to go there. After the storyline, you still unlock keys for pinnacle bosses in the usual way, exploring the world and finding the keys required to get to them. But we have added a lot more interesting things to find out there as well. There are now all sorts of mechanics that can spawn on maps in the wilderness. For example, some maps might spawn as a rogue exile hunting ground, containing multiple rogue exiles who are there to hunt rare beasts. You might come upon them in the middle of a fight and be able to take out both of them. Or a map of champions that makes all the natural inhabitants of the area into magic monsters. Or this one that causes all shrines in the area to release Ismeri spirits when used. Once you have explored and found your keys, you can return to fight the pinnacle in the fortress again. But this version of him will be harder, and not only that, he will have new unique rewards as well. Each time you fight him, you get the ability to activate one section of the fortress, and any maps that you didn't finish there will be automatically completed, giving you all the Atlas points. So if you're the type of player who doesn't want to explore the fortress, and instead just race out into the infinite Atlas, you still have a way to get all those points. So that's the Origins of Divinity storyline. It's a huge amount of new content with a ton of new areas, 5 new bosses, including a pinnacle, with a bunch of new unique items. But not only that, it also completely revamps the Atlas tree, and includes a ton of new map mechanics that you can find both inside and outside the fortress. But this is just one of the new storylines. So let's talk about the next one now, Masters of the Atlas. Now earlier we talked about how the multi-choice nodes in the tree allow you to still have an in-game Atlas build, but we didn't think that was quite enough. You have an Ascendancy class for your passive tree. Why not an Ascendancy class for your Atlas tree? Well, that's where the Masters of the Atlas come in. Throughout Rayclast are many opportunities for those with the skills to find them. Atlas Masters are willing to train you in these skills if you're able to help them in return. One such master is Jado, a member of the Order of the Jinn, an organization that secures powerful artifacts to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Jado will send you on missions to investigate strange occurrences on the Atlas and recover the artifacts causing them.
How's it going,
and for
buddy?
each one you recover, he will gain more trust in you and teach you more ways of the Order of the Jinn. At level 1, you could choose to massively increase the chance for rare and unique chests, or make it so that all map bosses drop an additional unique item. or make corrupted waystones have an additional modifier, but at the cost of making them send you to a totally unknown location. Each mission you complete for Jado will unlock another row of abilities, and give you another point to allocate, letting you choose how you want to specialize. But there are other masters too. For example, Hilda. Hilda is a member of a guild of monster hunters. She will send you on missions to assassinate specific deadly creatures around Rayclast and harvest their parts. In exchange, she will teach you her monster hunting skills, like this one, which adds a 25% chance to upgrade any map boss to a powerful version. Or this one, which makes his Marian spirits no longer possess rare monsters, making them go for the unique bosses in the area instead. You might notice that many of the effects on these are both upsides and downsides. So Hilda, for example, can make it so that you only get one attempt when fighting pinnacle bosses, but in exchange for that, they always drop 2 uniques. Because of that, we wanted it to be easy to swap between them depending on what you're doing. As you unlock each master, they will appear on the side of the screen. Simply click whichever one you want to use to run the map, and all the bonuses you have selected for that master will be activated. This allows you to have a few different strategies that you can quickly pick between, depending on what you're running at the moment. Now, one thing that's been pretty obvious is that the endgame leagues we created when launching Early Access in 010 were not really up to the standard of the leagues we did since then. Fate of the Vaal and Rise of the Abyssal just have a lot more going on than Delirium or Expedition, for example. We wanted to do a serious upgrade to all of these mechanics before we do our 1.0 release, and so that's what we've done. All 4 of the leagues we launched in Early Access have been upgraded with not only new quest lines, but new mechanics, new crafting systems, new uniques, and new pinnacle bosses. One of the really important changes we made to all the leagues is that you can now find them on the Atlas in specific locations, and each one has a quest line that will lead you there to being able to complete the league, along with its Atlas tree and its pinnacle boss. This is true even for the leagues that we didn't do major redesigns to, so let's use Abyss as an example. When you first encounter one in the endgame, you'll get a quest that leads you to the east, where you will find these mega abyss cracks in the earth leading away from the Well of Souls. All the maps along the cracks will contain abysses with special properties, and mapping along these cracks will close the Atlas scale abysses, giving you points for the Abyss Atlas tree. At the end of each Atlas abyss, you'll find an Abyssal Depths with the boss fight for one of the Abyssal factions, giving you a guaranteed way to fight them. And after completing all 3, you'll get a key for the Well of Souls, allowing you to fight the Vessel of Kulamak. This kind of thing makes an in-game league so much more friendly for new players, giving people obvious goals and a guided experience to complete them. Alright, so let's talk about the first of the upgraded leagues, Delirium, and its new storyline, The Hare and the Raven. As you may remember, during Act 4 you were tricked into releasing an ancient entity from a Karui prison known as Tangmazu, the Raven Trickster. Tangmazu delights in breaking the minds of those who step through his mirrors, and when touching one, he will attempt to destroy your mind with twisted abominations generated from your worst fears.
Ooh.
In Return of the Ancients, the first time you approach one of his Delirium encounters in the endgame, you will find Elder Maddox locked in a trance. His mind is trapped in one of Tangmazu's delusions, and you will need to free him. Once free, Elder Maddox demands that as you caused this problem, you should put it right. He asks you to travel west to the Withered Willow, the location he believes that Tangmazu first gained his powers. But be careful. As you travel there, the Raven Trickster will attempt to break your mind. Each map around the Withered Willow features Delirium encounters. Now this is more than a simple quest upgrade. The mechanic of Delirium has been overhauled and expanded. At the bottom of the screen, there is now a bar that indicates how deep into Delirium you are. You can see which direction leads deeper by looking at the fog, and the deeper you go, the more challenges you will face. By looking at the bar, you can see how long you have until the Delirium ends. And you can also see special encounters that you will face if you're able to go deep enough into the fog. At the end of the bar is always the boss of the map, but we now have a variety of other encounters that you might find as you explore the horrors of your own mind. For example, you might encounter a purple mirror shard that when shattered will cause all the enemies to become more nightmarish. After hitting this, you'll notice the Delirium demons are enhanced, significantly more powerful, larger, and scarier in general, along
like
with
Doomsday.
more rewards. Or should you encounter a red mirror shard, you'll be sent into the depths of your mind. and must escape it while fighting off hordes of your worst fears. If you are able to do so, you will gain a powerful amulet with 2 instilled notables on it. Once you reach the Withered Willow, Elder Maddox discovers that a shard of the mirror is missing. You will need to track down Tangmazu and restore it if you have a hope of discovering how to defeat him, and that means entering the Raven Trickster's mirrors in an attempt to locate him. Each area around the Withered Willow contains delirium encounters, so that's a good place to start. As you do deliriums, some of the special encounters will drop liquid emotions. Normally these emotions can be used to install amulets to add notable passive buffs to them, but in Return of the Ancients, emotions have a new function as well. Each one now has the ability to add crafted mods to jewels, allowing you to add specific mods to an item slot that can be quite difficult to roll. For example, Liquid Despair will allow you to add critical hit chance, while Liquid Suffering will allow you to add movement speed or Air of Effect to your jewels, but there are many more. Once you've done enough delirium encounters, the location of a Grand Mirror, an entrance into Tangmazu's realm, is revealed, but it won't be that simple to enter. Using his powers, he reflects the map boss for a ridiculous empowered fight, then destroys the entrance into his realm of madness. In order to find him now, you'll need to let the insanity fully into your mind. A strange fruit is left behind which you can consume to fully embrace the madness in an attempt to reach the Raven Trickster's realm. Consuming the fruit will cover an entire area of the Atlas in fog, and every map you do in the fog will get progressively harder and harder as you explore the deeper reaches of your mind. At some point you enter a new layer. A simulacrum of your memories, twisted and perverted by the Raven Trickster. Should you be able to complete the simulacrum, Tangmazu will believe that you are worthy of a true challenge, and will let you take the remaining shard of his mirror, allowing you to enter his realm of madness back at the Withered Willow. If you dare to face him, it will be a fearsome challenge.
Oh! Look at that!
So, that's the new storyline of Delirium. As you can see, it's not only a quest line, there are new mechanics, new crafting options, and new boss fights. But one question you might have is, what happens after? Well, once you've completed the story, Grand Mirrors will start appearing on the Atlas sometimes after completing Delirium encounters. After doing the Grand Mirror, you can select where on the Atlas you want to do your fruit-induced drug trip and get another key to fight Tangmazu. But this time, the fight will be quite a bit harder, and not only that, the fight will be able to drop a bunch of new uniques that were not available in the questline version. We'll show some of those later. After doing a Grand Mirror, the decision of where to spread the fog can be important, because there are some potent emotions that only come from certain map bosses affected by Delirium this way. Like all emotions, they can craft special mods onto jewels, but these potent emotions can create mods that you can't get any other way. So for example, Potent Liquid Melancholy is an emotion that can only come from human bosses, and allows you to add a variety of on-hit effects. Also, you might want to try instilling amulets with these emotions. They could have some interesting effects, with some powerful notables that do not normally exist on the tree. Like Storm's Rebuke, which makes armor break boost your cold and lightning damage. But also notables from a clearly deranged mind, like Calm's Blessing. This skill allows you to ancestrally boost fire spells after using a Warcry. How about using an Ancestral Flame Blast? Now, just like before, you can also upgrade the League by getting points for a dedicated Delirium Atlas tree. But this now works in a much better way and has much cooler effects. The maps in the Delirium area of the Atlas give you Delirium passive points for completing them, so it's easy to see how to progress. Some nodes will add new types of mirror shard encounters to your Deliriums. Like this one, which will pause the Delirium for some amount of time, allowing you to more easily get to higher depths. Or this one, which adds extra Delirium modifiers to monsters when you pick it up. There are also nodes that can add new types of drops, like this one, which modifies Simulacrum encounters to add special liquid emotions, which can craft time-lost jewels. And nodes that apply to the Atlas mechanics of the League, like this one, which causes the Grand Mirror to spread Delirium fog over a larger area of the Atlas, potentially containing multiple simulacrums. Alright, so that's the changes to Delirium. The core mechanic now includes a bunch of new things to find, new monsters to kill, and has new mechanics on the Atlas. It also has new crafting system for jewels, and over 20 new unlockable notables for amulets. Not only that, but you have a new pinnacle boss with a bunch of new unique items, and a massively upgraded Atlas tree just for Delirium. But there's still a lot more to come, so let's talk about Breach next. When you first do a breach in the endgame, you will find Aelith, one of the Keepers of the Flame, an ancient order of monks dedicated to preventing the Hiveborn from entering the world. As you seem to be a keen slayer of demons, Aelith would like to recruit you to the order and asks that you travel to their monastery to the south. On the way there, you'll start to encounter more breaches, and will notice one of the first changes to the breach mechanic. You still have to kill monsters as fast as you can to keep the breach open, but now you can visibly see how much time you have left to keep it open, and how each kill extends its duration. Once you've reached the monastery, you will learn more about the Keepers. In the 25 years since the events of Keepers of the Flame in Path of Exile 1, the war with the Hiveborn has not gone well, and they have managed to establish a foothold in the world nearby. A gigantic area has fallen to the Scourge, and the Keepers are unable to get inside. Inside the monastery is the Genesis Tree, a powerful asset to the war effort, stolen from the enemy and gifted to the Keepers by the Dreamer himself. Using the tree, Aelith could create a breach stone and penetrate the Hiveborn foothold, but without Hiveblood, the tree has withered. To get Hiveblood, you will need to take advantage of another new mechanic of breach. If you can keep the otherworldly portal open for long enough, the breach will stabilize and will enter a new phase. The Hiveborn will send their toughest miscreations to defeat you, and the breach will not close until you can annihilate them, dropping Hiveblood that you can use to restore the Genesis Tree. In some cases, you may even attract one of the deadliest foes the Hiveborn can offer, a Marshal of Zesht. These monsters also drop womb gifts, and if you take these to the Genesis Tree, they can be used to craft items to help you in the war against the Hiveborn. Given that 25 years have passed since the beginning of the war, the tree has grown and withered many times, but with each cycle it learns and expands its abilities. When you first open the Genesis Tree, you will notice these holes into which you can place your womb gifts.
Holy cow.
Each womb gift can be used to create a different type of jewelry, and must be fertilized with Hiveblood.
Oh,
so for
my
example,
Lord, have
you can
mercy.
place this amulet womb gift into the tree, and it will give birth to a random rare amulet. But the Genesis Tree is capable of much more. As you continue to feed the tree, its branches will regenerate, and allow you more and more control over what kind of items it will birth. So for example, this branch of the tree will allow you to control which base types of amulets can be birthed. And as you go deeper, it will even allow you to create new base types that you can't get anywhere else. Like this one, which gives you an entire spirit skill for free. Or this one, which has a rune socket in it. To the left and right are branches that will let you control which mods the amulet can get, including making sure that they're higher level, or controlling which specific mods that they will always have. With 15 points to allocate, you will have to choose wisely how you want to specialize your crafts, but it's worth noting that this tree doesn't have any cost to respecking it. You can enable or disable the nodes at any time by clicking on them. On rings, we've also added some really interesting new crafting options as well. You have a bunch of new base types like these, but you also have entire new classes of mods that can be added. The right-hand branch of the ring tree adds an entire new set of caster mods to rings. From basics like extra elemental damage for spells, or more niche options like this mod that increases the rate you gain seals for Unleash. And on the left-hand side, you can unlock an entire new set of mods for minion characters. This stuff is actually pretty important, because casters and minion builds didn't have as many slots with interesting item crafting compared to attack builds.
Minion builds.
The Genesis tree narrows that gap.
I want minion builds.
There are also trees for belts and currency. I won't go over them too much here, but there are all sorts of goodies in these too, like being able to create new catalysts for jewels, or a belt that gives lightning damage.
I only ever play Witch in this.
Once you've done enough breach encounters, you may finally get a womb gift capable of birthing a breach stone. And you can then use it on the Hiveborn incursion. Once used, the true extent of the Breach Demon's foothold becomes clear. They have not only transformed the land, but constructed huge sky hives as well. When you enter the outskirts of their realm, you will discover breach hives. Using the power of the Keepers of the Flame, these otherworldly structures can be burned away when walking through them. But for each one destroyed, more of the Hiveborn will attack when you attempt to purge the hive.
Unfortunately, chat, my link does not work, so you can use that one. That'll take you to it. If you want to learn more about the game, go to that link that I just posted.
These encounters are particularly rewarding for womb gifts, so you'll want to do as many of these as you can. But your real goal are the sky hives deeper into the domain. These twisted creations are securing the demon's entry into our world. Inside the very center are the Breach Lords Tool and Ash, and you will need to defeat them if you want to get rid of the foothold once and for all. Now, once you've completed the questline version, there is still more to do. You will find other breach domains on the Atlas randomly in your travels. For each one, you will need to find a breach stone, destroy the sky hives, and defeat the Breach Lords. And doing these encounters is what will give you access to fight Zesht, the existing Breach Pinnacle boss, which you can access by communing with the Dreamer himself inside the monastery. While completing the questline for Breach, you will also be gaining points for the Breach Atlas tree, and there are a lot of cool new options here. This node will cause breach hives to spawn outside of the Hiveborn domains on the Atlas. And this one will give Aelith additional abilities that you can use while attacking a hive. Like this one, which causes all Hiveborn in the next wave to be magic, drastically increasing their difficulty in exchange for way more items.
Basically, chat, like, yeah, there's a lot of information being thrown at you. It just means that, hey, there's going to be stuff for you to click on.
Supports to the Marshal of Zesht.
You can keep it simple like that.
Or
oh, cool, another thing to click on.
Which womb gifts you will get. There's also some nodes that affect the Genesis tree, like this one, which will cause Zesht to drop his head, which when returned to the Genesis tree, will grow a grasping orchid on the side of it. You'll have to experiment to find out what this thing is good for. Putting rings on its fingers seems to make it happy.
Huh?
So that's a rundown of what you can expect from the new Breach questline. There's a new stabilization mechanic for breaches, hive encounters, and Hiveborn incursions on the Atlas. You also have a huge new crafting system and new bosses as well. Alright, so let's talk about the Rite of the Nameless storyline next. When you first complete a ritual in the endgame, Aoife, a lost spirit, will appear. She appears to need your help, but isn't able to communicate more than a few words.
I'd rather have stuff to click on than not have things to click on.
Like the other leagues, Ritual now has a place on the Atlas to call home.
Ain't that the truth?
The Wildwood could be found to the west. When you first arrive there, Aoife's spirit will guide you in, where you will discover that inside the Wildwood, spirits can take physical form. Aoife has been bound to this place by the King in the Mists, and requests that you free her, but in order to do so, you will need her body, currently in possession of the King. To reclaim it, you will need to gain an audience with him. Inside the Wildwood, there are many ritual encounters to complete. Like before, in each area, triggering rituals will resurrect the nearby bound monsters to attack you, and killing the monsters will give you tribute. In addition, each ritual you do in the area will add the monsters from the previous ritual, making the encounters much more challenging the more rituals you complete. Once you've completed them, spend your tribute to get items. Now, an important change to the rewards of Ritual is that all the items in the reward window are now uniques or omens, making this league's rewards much more valuable than before. In order to gain an audience with the Nameless King, you need to sacrifice tribute to him. Any remaining tribute you don't spend can be sacrificed this way to fill up this bar. Once you have enough tribute for an audience, return to the Wildwood to divine his location with the Nameless Shrine. His location will be revealed deeper in the Wildwood, and you will need to make your way to him, kill him, and get Aoife's body. Using her body, you can attempt to release her spirit, but this is when you learn about the true threat of the League. The Wildwood is built on top of an ancient prison. The King in the Mists didn't gain his power out of nowhere. He was granted it by an ancient being of darkness known as the Bodark, and the Nameless King's use of this power has been causing the prison to weaken. In order to prevent the Bodark from entering the world, a champion will need to enter its prison and beat him back, but those with a name are unable to survive there. In order to do so, you will need to transfer your name to another with a new mechanic in the Ritual League, the Rite of the Nameless. The rite will begin in a nearby forest. At first, it appears to be a regular ritual encounter, but that will soon change. The final ritual of the area will include the map boss, and defeating him will give you a piece of the effigy onto which you will transfer your name. But the ritual is still not complete. Once the map boss is defeated, the atlas will open and you will need to pick another adjacent map to continue the ritual. During the rite, each adjacent map will have different rewards to tempt you. So for example, if you go in this direction, you gain significantly more tribute, but if you go in this direction, the uniques in the reward window will turn into currency instead. You can also sometimes get offered specific items that will be added as rewards, so in this case, you'll have to choose if you want to get 5 Chaos Orbs or a Mage Blood. A difficult decision, I'm sure. Now, as this is one continuous ritual, the encounters in the next map won't start from scratch. They contain all the monsters that were gathered from the rituals of the previous map as well, making them harder and harder. And that includes the map boss too. You will need to defeat both map bosses in the final encounter for your next effigy piece. And it still doesn't end there. Pick another map, another reward, and add another map boss to continue until the ritual of the Nameless is complete. It will take 5 maps in all, and will be an incredible challenge. But once complete, you can return to the Wildwood to perform the final rite. Transfer your name to the effigy, adorn the crown of the Nameless King, and enter the prison. Now of course, once the Pinnacle boss is complete, the League doesn't end there. As you do rituals on the Atlas, you can continue to give tribute to the King in the Mists for another audience. Pick another forest to begin the Rite of the Nameless once more, and this time with a harder Pinnacle boss and new unique items to find. Of course, we've also significantly upgraded the Ritual Atlas tree. Get points by completing maps in the Wildwood, and you'll be able to unlock some pretty cool nodes. Some of them affect the Rite of the Nameless, like this one which extends its duration. You thought fighting 5 map bosses at once was hard? How about 6? Or this one, which makes maps during the Rite have more reward mods, often having 2. You also have nodes that allow things to combine with other content, like this one, which gives a chance for rituals to be created inside summoning circles, adding a random boss to the ritual encounter. There is even a node which adds a new type of possible ritual, the Audience with the Queen, which causes the Bride of the King to sometimes appear. Okay, so that's ritual. But let's have a look at what this means for in-game content as a whole for Path of Exile 2. When you include the expedition changes made by the League, we have a total of 5 new in-game storylines, each of which has a hub, crafting systems, areas to explore, NPCs, and a Pinnacle boss as a capstone. Not to mention the Masters of the Atlas storyline as well. But more importantly, you now have immediate quests as soon as you arrive at the endgame, and goals with obvious progressions that you can see how to finish. Each in-game questline has a progress bar that you can pop out from the side of the Atlas screen at any time that shows you how far through you are, and buttons that will take you to the hubs for them. Overall, it's just a way better in-game experience with a significant number of fun objectives to complete. But just in case you didn't have enough goals, we did have one other thing that you might want to complete this league. These are called challenge leagues after all. Where are all the challenges? Well, players of Path of Exile 1 will be used to the fact that each league comes with a series of challenges that you can complete in order to prove that you are indeed the best. We haven't done these yet in Path of Exile 2, but it's time to change that. If you're able to complete them, you'll earn pieces of the Knight of Alder armor set. Opening the challenge screen will show you a series of 8 challenges. After completing each one, anyone in chat or in the forums will be able to see your prowess. In addition, you'll get a statue to put in your hideout showing anyone you trade with how many challenges you've completed. You'll earn the first piece of the armor set after doing 2 challenges, and the full armor set after completing all 8. So that covers all the content you'll encounter in Return of the Ancients. But what about some new tools to fight against these new pinnacles with? Well, we also have some new Ascendancy classes as well, but to introduce them, I'll hand you guys back to Mark.
As Jonathan said, we have 2 new classes to show you today, the Spirit Walker and the Martial Artist. Let's start with the Huntress's new class, the Spirit Walker. The Spirit Walker has developed an affinity with the Asmerian animal spirits. She is able to infuse the power of multiple spirits at her choosing.
So this is a hunter.
On the bottom part of the class, you will find paths for each wisp you would like to commune with, be they primal, vivid, or wild.
So this is a hunter that it
Each
can
one
ascend
can give
to
you
either
different
one of
abilities
these?
that align with
It's like
the
a
stag,
subclass.
owl,
Okay.
or bear. Each ability gives you a method to become possessed by wisps of that type, and a new ability when you spend them. The stag allows you to summon stampedes when you attack. The owl grants boons in the form of their feathers, which adds extra projectiles and enhances the projectile speed of your next skill. And the bear simply summons a giant bear companion to your side. The bear will maul, slam, leap, and do intimidating roars to debuff your enemies. Now you can specialize more into each of these wisps, but if you want to combine all 3 of them, then a new hidden power will be unlocked, the power of the Sacred Wisps. This node is free, and enhances the quality of all 3 of your spirit animals.
Gotcha.
Your bear will take some of the damage you take, and grant you life regeneration. Your stags will become more aggressive, leaping towards enemies, and your owl-empowered skills will leave a trail of soaring ground behind them. But that's not all. The Spirit Walker has other powers beyond wisps, such as Idolatry, which can give you large bonuses for using idle socketables in your equipment. And this one, which is my absolute favorite. The Spirit Walker, having attuned herself with nature, can gain the ability to tame beast bosses, opening up a whole suite of very cool options for your build. Maybe you tame the mighty Silverfist in the jungle depths. Or maybe a 3-headed chimeral beast in the chimeral wetlands. Or then there's a giant frozen owl beast, Rakar, the Frozen Talon. There's so many choices. You're going to have to experiment a bunch with this one, and I'm very excited to see what bosses you all choose to have as your trusted boss companion. Next up, we have the Monk's new Ascendancy class.
That's what
the
Cletus is going to be
Martial
happy about,
Artist.
right?
After decades of training, he has mastered 3 of the 7 hollow techniques.
All Cletus talks about is monk.
Channeling hollow form technique allows the martial artist to create illusions of himself, which then use a skill of your choosing. Perfect for turning skills with less area of effect into ones that can obliterate packs with ease. Should you find yourself overly vulnerable while channeling, you might want to take Way of the Mountain, which causes you to be covered in stone when you immobilize enemies, mitigating large amounts of damage. This can even enhance your attacks too. By hardening your weapon in stone, you can deal even more damage.
Ooh, Shadow Clone Jutsu?
After taking Hollow Focus technique, you can manifest your spiritual energy into objects. In this case, bells, which will appear around the martial artist and can be shattered by any of his attacks.
Dude, I think Cletus
even
is
ones
going
from
to
the Hollow Form
100%
technique
enjoy
earlier.
this.
Hollow Resonance technique furthers that by adding a manifested bell to your back, which rings each time you deal a critical strike, damaging all enemies around you. Through all the martial artist's thorough training, he has mastered the flow of internal spiritual energy too, and has engraved runic tattoos around his meridians. By doing this, he can gain the benefit of extra runes. Just open your inventory and add the runes. There is one that counts as a helmet, 2 as a body armor, 1 as gloves, and 1 as boots. Finally, your hands, the ultimate expression of a master of the martial arts. Taking Way of the Stone Fist will cause your gloves to become a new base type when equipped. Each modifier on the original pair of gloves has an equivalent, more powerful, and more impactful modifier. For example, these gloves add some physical damage, cold damage, lightning damage, some resistances, and life gain on hit. Now, when I equip these, they become literal fists of stone, and not only grant me a bunch more evasion and energy shield, they now also grant a lot more damage, some maximum resistances, and a significantly higher amount of life gained on hitting enemies.
I need to put Path of Exile on my Legion Go as well.
With all the different rune combinations you can
fun
do,
games to
and
just
the different
like
modifiers and gloves,
just mindlessly
there's a
kill
ton
shit,
of different
you know?
build options, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can come up with.
Literally,
Now,
these games are
with
perfect
so
for like
many new
mobile game
bosses in
handhelds.
Return of the Ancients, of course we want to have a huge number of unique rewards. There are some pretty cool things in here, so we wanted to show you a few of them. Twisted Empyrean is a two-handed mace made from the purest of Verisium, combined with the beast's corruption. It converts all of your mace's skills fire damage to cold, and visually does so too, turning your volcanic fissures into glacial ones. This mace also comes with its own built-in skill, Starborn Onslaught. Using Glory, you can leap backwards, throwing your mace at the ground, creating Verisium fissures, before calling behind it a storm of cold metallic bolts from the stratosphere. Next, we have Eventide Petals, an amulet that not only grants runic ward, but also comes with its own reservation skill, Midnight Zenith. This skill causes your critical hits to grant Arctic petals that hover around you. Once you have acquired enough of these petals, they will be consumed, creating a floral ice crystal near an enemy. Then, destroy that crystal to do devastating cold damage to everything around it. The Raven's Flock is a staff perfect for minion characters. Not only does it grant spirit reservation efficiency and minion damage, it also allows your minions to inflict grueling madness on hit, slowing enemies and making all other slows on them more powerful, for maximum crowd control. That's not where this item shines though. It grants a skill called Spiraling Conspiracy. This skill causes a flock of ravens to circle you, dealing damage over time to anything near them. Killing enemies, or just by standing near unique enemies, causes the flock to grow, getting larger and larger.
That's wild.
For your PoE 1 players, you can think of this just like a Raven Righteous Fire. That's not all, however. These ravens are also minions, so they fully scale with minion damage and come with their own command skill,
Really?
Mad Flight. This command skill causes your flock to create a tunnel of deathly damage between a set of illusory mirrors, obliterating anything in between.
Well, ain't that something?
Horror's Flight is a pair of gloves instilled with the purest of fear. Equipping these causes your enemies to become terrified of you. These gloves cause you to gain stacks of fear incarnate when you cull enemies. To aid in your culling, these gloves also come with the skill Crushing Fear. This is similar to the monk skill Killing Palm, except it deals chaos damage, and the amount of damage and area of effect scales drastically based on the power of the enemy. As you use this, gain your stacks of Fear Incarnate, which increases your culling threshold, meaning enemies become easier and easier to cull, even to the point of being able to instantly kill some monsters from full life. Sylvan's Effigy is a scepter for those wanting to run companions. It allows you to have any number of companions of different types, instead of the normal restriction of just one per type. But what makes this cool is the Asmerian Wolf companion it comes with. This is a persistent minion that bites foes to maim them, leaps to cause bleeding, and even howls to buff nearby allies. Additionally, it comes with the command skill Eternal Hunt, which when used it will howl, calling on the spirits to manifest spectral wolves to ambush all foes around you. Liminal Coil is a crazy wand. It allows you to apply as many curses as you please, but those curses will have no effect. What's the point then? 2 reasons. Firstly, your spells gain a bunch of extra physical and chaos damage for each curse on enemies. Secondly, is the skill it grants called Coiling Bolts. This skill is a projectile spell that fires coiling physical and chaos projectiles with every cast. What makes this skill truly special though, is that it will split and chain through every cursed enemy, causing an absolute ruckus. See for yourself. Periphery is a unique bow, which utilizes all the powers of the Asmerian spirits by dealing damage of all elements. And all elements can cause all ailments. The coolest thing about this bow, however, is the Asmerian Swarm skill. These are minions that are summoned when you kill enemies. They will pursue all nearby enemies, damaging them and inflicting a debuff on them that boosts your elemental damage even further. Watch as you mow enemies down, and the swarms of Asmerian wisps aid you, melting enemies one screen at a time. The Ordained is a new spear, mastering in physical and lightning damage, with high critical strike chance too. This spear allows you to leech life not only from physical damage, but lightning too. It also creates a fragment of divinity nearby periodically. What are those? Well, this spear has the skill Righteous Descent, which is an epic, divine leap, aided by angelic wings. If you use the skill when a fragment of divinity is nearby, it will become empowered, dealing significantly more damage, gaining massive area of effect, and bypassing its cooldown. When fighting a boss, let a bunch of the fragments spawn, and then just unleash your divine havoc, obliterating them. Last, but not least, we have a new unique jewel, Voices. Voices is simple. It consumes 1 jewel slot to add more. There are versions that add 2 jewel slots, 3 jewel slots, and for those who are absurdly lucky or rich, one with 4 jewel slots. Equip it and notice the slots appear next to your character's portrait in the center. One of the things we are concerned about is how long it takes for experienced players to replay through the game in each new league. As we learned from Path of Exile 1, one of the things that can really help is having elements in the campaign that tell you where to go, if you know what to look for. We'll cover just one example per act for Acts 1 to 3, but there are many more than just these. For example, Hunting Grounds in Act 1 is a large, sparse area, containing multiple entrances and landmark encounters. Here's an example of some of the changes we've made here. Finding the ritual encounter in this area isn't too difficult. Now after completing it, a trail of locusts will lead to the entrance to Freythorn. Just follow it and find the source of the evil. You may also find corpses of dead animals, killed and pecked at by the crowbell. You'll notice a trail of blood leading away from them. Follow the trail and it will lead directly to the boss. We even put a signpost on the road to tell you which way to go to find Ogham Village.
Your game is stupid. We literally put a sign with a giant arrow.
You need to find the Lightless Caverns and track down the Abyssal. Now to make this quicker, in the level you'll find these cracks. Just follow them, and it will take you right to their lair, allowing you to find and unlock the Well of Souls.
Ooh, the Well of Souls.
In Act 3, the jungle areas have camps of explorers to sell you items. However, they are now even more useful. By talking to the explorers, they will point towards the next area. Not only that, but it will also reveal it on the minimap, so you can know exactly where to go. These are just some examples. We plan to do more and more of these over time in order to streamline the experience. Now, as this is an in-game expansion, it makes sense that we would work on Atlas QOL. We've added a search box that updates live as you type. Have a specific map you want to run? Now they will be much easier to find. If there are multiple maps, hitting enter will move you from map to map. Now, making a character build in Path of Exile 2 can be pretty complex. And instead of designing a build yourself, many players enjoy following online build guides. We have a pretty awesome community that has built many tools over the years for designing builds, but we wanted to improve the experience of following them. So, we are introducing a new build guide system directly into the game client. Here's how it works. Community creators who write build guides can now create a new file format, a build file. Once downloaded, The builds appear in the in-game client, and selecting one will show you everything you need to know to make that build. So you can see all the passives you need to allocate, ascendancy points you need to take, skill gems you need to equip, and recommendations for all the support gems you need to use as well.
Good.
For items, the build designer can specify which uniques to use in each slot, or if needed, just add some notes to the item slot to say what kind of item you need.
This is literally the best thing that they
build
talked
creators
about.
can add notes to just about any of these areas, allowing them to explain different trade-offs in context, or just give more info about how these things should be used.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
They can also give level ranges to each element, allowing recommendations to change over time. Great for builds that need to respec after they reach a certain level. Now, all of this is written in a standardized build format that creators can use, and we imagine that a lot of community build tools will be updated to add support for this format. Now that we have trade market searching built into the in-game client, we have added the ability to price check items you can find more easily. Control-Alt-clicking an item will now search for it on the trade market, showing you the current prices. For rare items, it's handy to exclude some mods, so we added the ability to enable and disable each mod so you can see what effect each one has on the price. Next up, we're going to be talking about the new supporter packs for Return of the Ancients. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Blood Reaver and Divinity packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Blood Reaver series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Let blood fuel your bloodshed. The Exsanguinator weapon effect draws the blood of enemies you've slain and funnels it into your weapons.
Oh, that's cool.
Turn the appearance of your endurance, frenzy, and power charges into orbiting globules of blood with the Blood Reaver charges. While your charges are active, these blood orbs will grow in size when you absorb more blood from nearby enemies. There are options to have pure blood charges, or charges that still display which kind of charge they are at their core. A taste for blood doesn't negate a taste for style. The Elite Blood Reaver armor features crimson leathers and golden accents to set yourself apart from uncivilized leeches. It also features a back attachment, fashioned out of the wing of a colossal bat. Alongside every Blood Reaver is their trusted gargoyle pet. In true gargoyle fashion, they take the form of a stone statue when you are idle, leaping into action when you're on the move again. What good is immortality if you don't have a vast mansion to come home to at the end of the day? The Eternal Blood Reaver supporter pack contains the Blood Reaver Manor Hideout. This exquisite 2-story estate features an organ, a grand dining table, and cages for your visitors. You can alter the walls to create as many or few rooms as you like. Last but not least, the Servant of the Manor, eternally bound to the Order of the Blood Reavers. This henchman will manage your store, so you can spend more time spilling blood.
He looks great.
Stop that. We won't disappoint you. But if we do, you've our permission to beat us most violently.
The Divinity Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Call on Divinity to aid you in eluding enemy hits with the Divinity Dodge Roll effect. As you sprint, actual Divine Lightning wings will form out of your back, leaving a trail of radiance as you engage or escape from combat. For situations that are too dicey, call on the gods above to send down the Storm of Divinity portal to create a safe passage for you to retreat through. Adorn yourself with the Knight of Divinity armor set, a highly revered attire only bestowed to those deemed worthy for the divine cause. Equipping the Divine Surge character effect empowers you with a storm of divine energy. Using skills causes the storm to burst from your character, spilling raw divinity into the area around you. The Arbiter of Divinity wings are the final piece remaining to emphasize the force divinity has over this realm. This ancient precursor machine was found locked away in a highly guarded vault. Its original purpose is unclear, but it has been altered to fuel your maps using the pure, everlasting divinity within the statue. The pillars surrounding represent how many portals you have left for your map. This map device also tracks your progress as you complete the new Origins of Divinity storyline, added this expansion. Additionally, all microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1. On release weekend, we will also be releasing the Return of the Ancients mystery box, which will contain 2 armor sets, a set of map devices for your in-game adventures, a new tracking scroll that records the amount of currency you've gained from the currency exchange or your shop, and much more, like a set of finisher effects and affinity stashes. That's not all, however. The Fragment Stash tab is finally coming to Path of Exile 2, and with it comes some tabception. Inside this one tab, there's a tab for your various boss key fragments. There's also a tab for all your precursor tablets, with each type of tablet getting 6 tabs of storage. Finally, there's a tab for your Djinn barriers and inscribed ultimatums, both of which get their own 6 tabs. That's a lot of tabs.
So that's everything in 050. This is by far the biggest update we've ever made to PoE 1 or 2. New in-game storylines, pinnacle bosses, crafting systems, items, ascendancy classes, and so much more. Now, because this update contains so much in-game content, we're doing significantly more testing than usual. For that to happen, we're taking a little longer than usual between the announcement and the release. 050 will be released in 3 weeks on May the 29th, with the patch notes being released on the Friday before that, on May 21st. But there's just one more thing to talk about. Now that the endgame is up to scratch, we have to start talking about our plan for 1.0 release. The feedback we've had during early access has been critical for making all the improvements that we'll be making to the game. At the same time, we had to create enough in-game content to make an RPG that can call itself a successor to Path of Exile 1. Well, with 050, we now believe we have reached that point, and so this is going to be the last full-size league during early access. That's right, the next big update is going to be 1.0.
Ooh.
Now, normally we would do our next big content release in August, but in the run-up to full release, our plans take a little longer on this one. As big as 050 is, 1.0 is even bigger. So we'll be launching 1.0 this year sometime after ExileCon. But that doesn't mean we won't be doing updates in the meantime. In this final phase, we have a lot of things to polish throughout the game and balance to improve. I'm sure there'll also be feedback about the new endgame that we need to incorporate too. The difference is that the focus is not going to be on adding more content like the previous updates, it's going to be on improving what we already have. But we still want to encourage people to try out all the balance changes and improvements that we're making. So we're going to be running a few event leagues during this phase alongside each update. Think remixes of existing mechanics or features. And speaking of ExileCon, don't forget to pencil it in on the weekend of November the 7th in New Zealand. ExileCon is a gathering of our players, and a chance for us to showcase everything we'll be working on for both Path of Exile 1 and 2. And this one will be particularly important for us, since we finally get to unveil some of the coolest content that we've been working on for a while now with Act 5 and 6. Tickets for the in-person event are currently sold out, but don't worry, all the announcements and talks are going to be streamed online for all of you to watch. Now, I'm personally so excited for this. This is the year that PoE 2 comes out. The campaign is finally finished. It's been 8 years to get here, but we're finally near the finish line. And with that, it's time to move on to our live Q&A.
Damn, really? Ziggy D! I once rated the wrong Ziggy. I thought I was rated Ziggy D one day. Oh, fantastic. Hell yeah. Now, this is the actual live stream experience right here. This is it. This is what it is. This is what I deal with.
To sit down for a nice long Q&A once again today. We just had a teaser for Return of the Ancients expansion and its complete overhaul to just every single thing in the endgame, complete endgame overhaul. The Runes of Aldur League with a frankly somewhat confusing amount of crafting and systems and things in it. It kind of keeps going. And then we've got like the Kalguran skills that work across weapons, the extra looking ascendancies and some insane uniques and all that sort of stuff. But honestly, it's kind of easy to talk about what's not part of 0.5. So with that very elegant segue, let's do that first. So I think some people definitely had an expectation or a hope that there was going to be a new class or a new weapon type here, swords perhaps.
Unfortunately, it's just the case that making a class is something that takes longer than a single cycle. So yeah, it was never going to be on the cards for 050, unfortunately. But
so it wasn't even that it was moved in this case.
No, it just wasn't. It just isn't something that we can do in that short amount of time. So it's going to have to be the next one before we're able to get.
Well, that's the link right there, Chad. If you want to catch up on everything you missed
beforehand.
Exactly. Right? So it's kind of funny seeing everyone like this. Like probably the mistake we made was having a sword in the teaser for the breach stuff.
I thought it was a fishing rod.
yeah. So no one thought about that, but it's just kind of funny.
It is a shame, but it seems like you guys have kind of. Well, you keep raising the bar on yourself as far as class design is concerned.
And it's not like we're not working on it in the background, right? Like that is definitely happening.
I've been seeing a little bit of work going on there.
We're simple people from New Zealand. Like swords, they're advanced technology that we haven't gotten yet.
So we just don't understand.
We're trying to learn how they work.
Just like get on the map, aren't you?
There's like a straight line. There's like some metal. These are complex things.
There's a lot to figure out there. But do you care to speak at all, like kind of what your plans are in that regard as far as like classes?
I really shouldn't, just because it'll spoil the reveal for that will come
not exactly,
some of the time.
But like, what are you kind of hoping towards getting, like from 0.5 onwards, in the lead up to ExileCon in terms of that? Are you hoping to get like all of the classes in the game, just one or two more or something like that?
Well, so I think that what the main focus is going between 050 and 1.0 is going to be more about like improving what we have, like polishing everything, and 1.0 is where you're going to get the like the big new content update, like that's going to include the Acts 5 and 6, it's going to include like class stuff, it's going to include like all that sort of thing, because really ultimately the main goal of what of early access is like make sure that all the systems that we have in the game are good. Right, so we need to make sure the end game is good. We need to make sure that all of the the skills, just the way that combat is good, and like all the various things, like like even stuff that isn't good yet, like ascendancy trials, right? Like there's going to be stuff that we need to do before 1.0 to get good, and so like that's kind of so long as we can get that stuff, then I think people trust that we know how to create like an act at this point, right? Like so that isn't exactly something we need to test per se, So really what we need to do now is like assuming that people are happy with the end game that we've released in 050, that will mean that we've kind of checked all the boxes of stuff that we need to know, and there's still stuff that we need to improve, and like that'll happen between 050 and 1.0.
I'll still be on tonight, chat.
That's the main thing we need to be sure of, and then once we've got that, it's like now we can get the big update, the ridiculous update that is 1.0 ready.
And I heard you mentioning that recently as well, that you don't feel like you really need to get the last acts in for testing.
No, I mean, like,
know how to do that.
We know how to do that. It's one of those things that like look, people saw in for like we know what we're doing when it comes to that stuff. It's just
the plan's obviously to get like those last acts in, then finish the story and have all that come out at launch
in 1.0 exactly, and look, that'll be the launch
conclusion to the story then. Exactly. So you have done, though, one extremely gigantic update here for Endgame. And it seems like you've done a lot all-in-one expansion.
Yeah.
And you've got this plan to like kind of do a little bit of like some other stuff in the interim. So why did you go for this route of trying to do so much all in one instead of spreading it out over, say, a couple of expansions?
So in retrospect, maybe we should have spread it out. But honestly, the reason is because we wanted to actually make it so that like we wanted to deliver a patch where like this is what we expect the end game to be. Like this is the template for what leagues look like when they're in end game and that kind of thing. And I feel like if we'd just done a couple of them, it wouldn't have really got that across. Like it needs to be like, once again, this is what end game is, and it really is fulfilling a lot more of what we had hoped for in terms of feeling like a world.
I don't know. I might do Ruse or more Conan. I don't know.
And that kind of stuff that we had wanted for. And the other thing as well is there were just like a few
kind of liking the Conan run.
Right? It just didn't really give you goals.
I'm going to get a little deeper into that world.
End game, you don't know what the hell to do, and a lot of players just leave right there. There needs to be the case that when you get there, like there's objectives, there's things, that feels like there's actually a storyline there, this kind of stuff, in order to entice players to actually go further than the campaign, actually get into endgame. So I think that if we hadn't have done all of the leagues at the same time, it just wouldn't really have kind of gotten across what we're really going for there.
And it sounds like the plan now is to be able to focus on a little bit more polish in the lead up to ExileCon as well.
So we plan to have some more leagues. Like content, like mega expansion type leagues. Like it's more like kind of like the 1 month event type things that we've done, and that's really just because we still don't want to do mid league nerfs, and so to be able to do all the balance changes we want to do, because there's a huge amount of balance still to do. In order to do all that stuff, you still need to have an economy reset. And so what we'll probably do is more event type stuff, like remixes of existing content, but also adding stuff where stuff's missing. So for example, like we still have a lot more uniques we need to make, especially that mid-game uniques, so that kind of stuff. Like we now believe we've got the standard of where a unique needs to be in PoE 2 in terms of like, you know, and it's like way more than what you need in PoE 1 in terms of being like to reach the standard. And so now that we've got that, we can expand on that, get more uniques, sort of, you know, mid-game ones, that kind of stuff. You know, so there's stuff like that that'll be coming in the sort of the updates between now and 1.0. But yeah, like it isn't going to be the kind of like, you know, mega content craziness that we've got for OFO here.
We have a lot to dive into as far as endgame things. While people watching live, get your questions in the chat for all of that. In the meantime, I want to ask you folks about the new league, the Runes of Aldur, which this is like an expedition rework, but it's also its own separate league. This encountering remnants, uncovering these runes throughout this storyline in the campaign, and then into endgame. And I was like, really, like it's a lot. There's a lot of like crafting and items and reward types and systems and stuff going on here. In fact, Jonathan, you showed me this rather unhinged looking spreadsheet. Like I was like, oh, so these are just like random rewards or something. But then you showed me this spreadsheet, like that's like the recipes of all the how different runes combine together to make different things. Yeah. We probably put too much thought into it that honestly needed. But like, like we have to make sure that like if it's an iron rune, like what kind of stuff would be, you know, creating that, like, you know, that's just something like the recipes have a lot more structure to them, and I suspect a lot of that players won't even think about, like they'll just see list pick for item, you know, like that's something I don't really think about, but there is some thought put into that of like what things go to what recipes.
One way to look at this is this league has the most spreadsheets we've ever made.
Man, spreadsheets are like that.
The other day I was looking through all the, we have this gig, it's called like Verisium crafting or something. I was looking through all the tabs, and I was like, I was on like the 60th tab, and I was like, the heck is this? I was reading all this stuff, and it said like Mark's ideas, and I was like, I don't remember coming up with any of this. I did. There's just like pages and pages and pages of crafts and stats, and just like honestly, I've lost the plot a little bit with respect to how many like different things we've made, and like it's honestly just been crazy.
Idea writing.
Some of the rune stuff is like also super bizarre. Like, okay, what's like? I don't even really understand that rune that's got to do with uniques. Like, what's going on with that?
It's called Olroth's Legacy. And it's a rune that you can place in Izamite and Kalgurin uniques to destroy the unique, and it takes one of the mods off of it and creates a unique rune.
What?
With a slightly modified value sometimes, because obviously, and then you can put that in the same item class of a.
I don't even know about this system. What the systems just keep coming out of the
There's just so many crazy crafting things going on. But it was kind of like, well, when we were designing the league, we're like, okay, we've got Kalgurans. Like, what kind of crazy crafting and magic systems would Kalgurans have? Like, that would be different than the stuff that's going on in Rayclast. And so, you know, their whole magic system is based around like this star metal that they have Verisium, and then they like, you know, like.
Have fun, Spicy.
Words give it power and so on. So we're just kind of thinking, we're using that as inspiration for all the different crafting.
Talk about a game, you know, that's worth every penny, right? Like, look how long it took you to finish that game.
Yeah, we went definitely. So there's so many.
You got your money's worth on that one.
Like, there's even more crafting stuff we had. Like, there were entire crafting benches that we have designed and practically like 80% implemented and then discarded. Like, there's just like a huge amount of that stuff.
We can do this or some other way, some cool way. So. Like, because I saw that there's like, oh, you can bench craft.
See you, McCoy. I'm probably gonna end here soon.
But now you've also got a rune that steals modifiers off uniques as well. I had no idea.
Why not?
Yeah, this was sponsored by Grinding Gear Games. So, you know, like I said, Path of Exile 2.
Their
1.0's coming out soon.
Why do you do this? Why do you make it so you have to like?
I mean, this is definitely a game that, chat, you know, you play,
because of that
you'll have content for days, all right? You're not going to get bored anytime soon.
One other axis on that, all these new runes we've added, all of them. Remember that shaman that has that whole bonded modifier on every rune that we need to also add?
Yeah.
Wow.
So does that apply to the ones that come from uniques like that?
TBD. We're going to try. We are going to try to do it. Yes. But, the idea is all of them will work. Yes.
So that's like there's some really unusual ones too, because there's runes that are designed to just be put into an item to metacraft and then be replaced. Right. So
I'm really proud of that one actually, because I really like the way that it's like doing metacrafting in a more understandable way, I reckon, than what PoE 1 had. So you put the item in, you can start rolling different mods, but then you can take it out again by putting another rune on top. So
and I guess there's going to be maybe some process where you put one of those in do a craft and then put another one in and do another craft.
Almost certainly. Yeah.
Together.
That one's pretty cool. We got like chronomancy mods on boots. You got like a berserking themed one for helmet. There's like a kind of decay damage over time one for gloves, and there's a few others there. So we've kind of
Yeah.
That's like even.
It'll be fun. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna put this. This is definitely going on the Legion Go. Like this is just one of those games you can just chill out to and play.
Modifiables entirely getting added to items.
I'll watch that tonight. Spicy Ben. I'll watch that when I start stream tonight.
With the new minion set of mods and the new caster set of mods on rings and stuff like that. Like, yeah. But the thing is, part of the reason for this is because we really wanted to make sure. So one of the things we're in the sort of early design phase of this is we're kind of like every league needs to have something that you're going to keep, like, if you want to grind Justice League, that there's a thing that, like a reward that, like, you can keep on, that keeps on giving, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there's, like, a reason to keep on doing this.
Thank you, BSD.
So therefore, every league has some kind of crafting system that you can engage with for a very long period of time. And
I have, yeah. Maul was great. Maul was great, yeah.
That a bit before, but now we
good
want to make sure that
goosebump
every
moments
league
there.
definitely has something along those lines. So that, you know, just a reason to keep going.
Yeah, people can absolutely find like a niche, a service they provide the community or whatnot, which I quite like to see, especially the Breach Tree getting real deep cuts on some of those things that you can do there, and now with the runes and everything as well. So for the back to the runes of Eldor, you're not actually needing to like find those runes that you're inscribing on those encounters, right? Because I wasn't quite clear on how that works.
Thematically, that's how it works, but in reality, the way that you'll engage with it is when you find a rune that's sort of inscribed on a thing, then like all the recipes that relate to that rune will be displayed, except for that there's a few hidden ones that you have to do some quests to get. So there's some more quests throughout the campaign and also some stuff in endgame that you can do to unlock a few more recipes.
Yeah, but you're not having to like physically like cart these sorts of things around.
No, there's nothing like that. So effectively, like, you're just picking from the book every time. So like if you want to just look at this as like, you know, walk up to the object, there's some recipes, just pick which item you want. That's effectively how you can engage with it. But thematically, there's kind of more stuff going on with the way that the recipes form and what we decide to put in stuff.
So you showed that these remnants.
If you want to continue watching this,
obviously it shares the name with
I
remnants.
will raid
the
Path of Exile channel.
Remnants. So you are still finding these standalone remnants from the League mechanic, like in maps as well as expeditions.
Correct. So yeah, every area there'll be a remnant, and you do the sort of standalone remnant mechanic. But then when you do expeditions, all the what used to be called remnants there have been replaced by these remnants, which serve a similar purpose because they both give you an extra reward, but also make the monsters harder. And even just making the monsters harder in itself, by the way, does add more energy to the monsters. So like the more runes that you are adding to the fight, the more rewards you're going to get. So it's worth doing even aside from the reward that you're picking. There's still like extra juice that you're adding to the
target channel has disabled raids.
All
right, well, in that case, y'all have a good night. I'll see you, or good afternoon. I'll be back later today, later tonight. I'll be back later tonight.
To apply to the system, they all go through the
so take care. You can go watch this on their main channel. I mean,
so
I don't know.
Trying to make sure that
can I link that?
You know, whereas before it's like system over here, system over here, system over here.
We always want to make sure that
reward
there we go.
We're just trying to make sure it's all
I'll link it to you.
difficulty equals reward.
Right, and that's the key thing.
I'll see you in a few hours. Yeah, basically. I gotta go work out and shit like that.
In kind.
There you go.
A lot of the stuff in PoE 2. I mean, it's been quite hard to balance it, but it's
one
of those things.
No, not yet,
P-Walk.
It's not on me. I gotta wait for somebody else to get some stuff done.
Why things feel off and like why things is like this thing's too hard and that kind of stuff.
See you later.
So, on